proper name for the car, Stepchild. I'm gonna start treating it like a stepchild if it doesn't act right.
Well, this sucks. It sucks horribly. This has become quite the project. I tell you, I'm kind of getting tired of crawling around underneath this car, that's for sure.
What's going on, and welcome back. So as you saw in the last video, which you should have if you watched it, if you didn't watch it, you need to go back and look. But as we did in the last video, we got the clutch installed. We got the Ram clutch installed in the car. Finally, it's a shame we have to cover that up because it's a thing of beauty. And yeah. But anyway, today is transmission day. Finally, we're finally getting to the transmission. We're going to put the bell housing on first. That's the beauty of this one. It's got a separate bell housing. So hopefully it'll be easier to install that way. I'm not sure. We're about to find out. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the bell housing, get that squared away, and then we have to clearance for the reverse lockout. Now, I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do the wiring. There is a harness that I got from, I don't know if you say a Bowler or Bowler transmission. I did get the all-in-one harness. So there's a little bit of wiring we got to do, but the harness is long, and I really need to have the transmission under there and kind of maybe just bring it up a little bit to kind of see where it sits, because I have to clearance for the reverse lockout solenoid. It's controlled by an electric solenoid for the reverse lockout. So I got to figure that out. From what I understand, that everyone that has installed these transmissions in an S550, they've run into a clearance issue with that solenoid. It taps on the transmission tunnel, so we need a clearance for that, but I need to know exactly where that needs to be. So after the bell housing, I'll probably just maybe lift the transmission up as high as I can get it to get a better idea of where that clearancing needs to be. Then we'll do that, and then I may wire it first. I don't know. If I get it under there and get a position where it should sit, then maybe I have a better picture of where it's going to sit, and then I can make the length of the harness according to that, because I really don't want a long harness and have to like coil it up or that kind of thing. But we'll see. We'll see when it's under there. Hopefully that'll tell me, and we can get it done. But anyway, there's nothing to it but to do it, so let's get going. So, one good thing about this being a separate bell housing is I can get to the top bolts fairly easily. So that is a good thing without a doubt. All right, so the instructions say to torque the bolts 31 to 40 foot-pounds. Since I have to use an extension, I'm going to go on the high side and go with 40. Alright, so now since this is an SFI bell housing,
we are going to use, they have a bolt kit for SFI specs, so it says SFI, so all these should be ones that will go down here. And basically all they're doing is attaching the backing plate to the bell housing. Alrighty, so that's that. Bell housing is on.
Alright, so I didn't really have a lot of room underneath the car to get a good angle, get a good shot with the camera. So I didn't film putting the transmission, bolting it up to the bell housing. I was all over the place underneath the car and I needed as much room as possible. So I wasn't able to film that. But we did get the transmission in. It is up, sitting on the cross member. And I did start some of the wiring. So we've got that going. Now I've got to, I think I'm gonna go ahead and install the drive shaft and finish up the wiring of the transmission. And then we can work on getting the exhaust back up, filling the transmission with fluid, getting some fluid in the reservoir for the clutch. Anyway, let's get to that. Let's start putting the drive shaft in. But let's get going. Let's get busy on this. We need to get it done. I did go with the DSS drive shaft. They make one specific for this swap, so I opted for that. This one has the strange yoke on it, and it does come with new bolts for the rear flange, which is pretty cool. So I did put some transmission fluid on the yoke so I don't tear up that seal, hopefully. And let's see if we can get this in here. There we go. Come on, get in there. There we go. All right. I'm gonna see if I got some regular hex head bolts to replace two of these with. The end of the shaft itself, where the U-joint is, and it's right on top. I don't know why you would want to try to even use an Allen head in there, because I know I won't be able to even get the Allen wrench in there. So I have to find an alternative for that, or leave those out until I can get some hex head bolts there. That's ridiculous. I might end up changing them all out at some point. Let me see what I got. So I looked for some hex head bolts and I didn't have any. And went back under the car to tighten the drive shaft bolts, and I did not start the camera. I did not hit record. So I'm gonna take you underneath and show you what it looks like. Not much to see, but I mean, we'll take you under that. So here's the drive shaft flange, the rear end flange. There's two bolts here. There's two more on the top. One's on the side here. The ones that there's no way you can get an Allen in there. You'd have to use like some channel locks or something to tighten them, get them down close, and maybe you could fit a stubby Allen wrench in there. I don't know, but I'm gonna try to find hex head. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't know why they did that. That is completely stupid. It is what it is. We're gonna run with the 4 for now. I probably won't even drive it or be able to drive it today, so it won't even matter. I'll try to pick up some bolts tomorrow or something. But yeah, drive shaft is in. Still got to finish up the wiring. Still got to zip tie some wires up and finish wiring in the all-in-one harness. As far as that goes,
There's only 5 wires. You got 1 for the speed sensor, 2 for the reverse light, 1 for power, 1 for ground. I've already run the power wire. It's not soldered to the harness yet, but I've run the power wire up top to a key-on engine running power source, and then I just need to run the ground. So I think we're going to work on that, get that done, get these wires up, and then we can work on the exhaust, get the exhaust up, and go from there. So as you can see, I've got the, I don't know what you call them, front tubes, whatever, S-shaped pipes, whatever you want to call them. Got those up. Did get all the wiring done. That is complete. It's all tucked up. And now what I'm trying to do is figure out what to do with these pipes, because these are made to adapt to the stock pipe, so they neck down a lot. Pipes makes a kit that is supposed to adapt it to where you want to run a full 3-inch exhaust, and it looks to me like it's just a couple couplers. So I got some today at the parts store, and I need to see what I need to do for this. I don't know if I have to cut these here. I mean, I imagine that's what I'd have to do, but that doesn't leave me a whole lot right here. It still seems like that's on the curve, so I don't know if something's gonna have to be welded in there or what's gonna have to happen. That kind of sucks, because like I said, it's still kind of, it's right at the end of that curve right there, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Got the cat back on the other creeper. I'm trying to bring it up here to get a look at how I need to do this. Man, I'm not sure how this is gonna work. I'll probably have to set it in the rear hangers and lift it up to see what needs to happen here. I'm not sure. All right, so I guess for right now, I'm gonna see if I can get the cat back up into the rear hangers, and then see if I can bring it up and just hang it on to the rear here, so I can get a better look up there. Can't really tell with it laying on the ground, so we gotta get it up and see what we're dealing with. Here we go, come on. Now the pipes kit looked like it was just a couple like couplers, but this is gonna have to be cut off. This can be clamped here, but I don't know what's gotta happen here. But it looks like the only thing I could do is get a 3-inch outside, which would slide into here, and then a 3-inch inside, which would hopefully slide over this after you cut this off. Yeah, I'm gonna get these clamps off and see what we're looking like. So here's the S-shaped pipe, and you can see how it necks down. That would connect to the stock exhaust. Now this is the cat back. There's a piece that goes inside here that necks down to this size. That would allow you to use it for a stock exhaust cat forward. Now, since it's like this, I need a piece to go between. So I bought this coupling, whatever you want to call it, from the parts store this morning. That's not going to work because they're too far apart. I wasn't sure. I just went ahead and bought these in case. I thought they would be closer, but they are not. So I ordered basically a 3-inch inside diameter, which is going to slide over this like this one is slid over. It's going to slide over here, and then it'll neck down to 3-inch outside diameter, which will slide in here, and I can clamp both ends or weld it here, however I want to do it. But that's where we're at. That's holding us up. Everything else is pretty much done underneath the car. This is basically, I think, the last thing I've got under here, which thank goodness, because I'm really tired of
crawling around underneath this car. I've been doing it for the past 3 days. While I'm here, I'll try to get you a shot of everything. As you can see, all the wiring is done. Those are the connectors for the rear O2s. Everything else is hooked up and should be good to go. One other issue I'm gonna have is the drive shaft loop. I did order that for the MT82, and that is not going to work because, as you can see, hopefully, there's the transmission cross member, and you can see the transmission still keeps going. The drive shaft is way back there. So I don't even know if anybody makes a loop for this application, so we'll have to see. But let me get out from underneath here, and we'll talk about it some more. So as you can see, we're not going to move much further today with Project Stepchild. I am going to go ahead and fill the transmission with fluid, go ahead and try to get all the air out of the slave cylinder. Try to do that today, and of course button up underneath the hood. That way when I do get those pieces, that hopefully that's about the only thing I'll have to do. Let's get the fluids in this thing. Let's see if we can get the slave cylinder free of air and working correctly, and we'll go from there. Now, since I had to remove the shifter to get the transmission in, I don't know if that's actually normal or not, but I had to remove it. There just wasn't enough room to bring the transmission up to the bell housing and clear the shifter on there, so I had to remove it. So I figured this is the way we're going to fill the transmission. This is one of the options you have. There is a fill plug down below there, but I figured this would be the easiest way, and I wouldn't have to mess with anything underneath the car. The only problem with this is I hope I don't make a mess. That would be extremely terrible. But I figured this would be the easiest way since the shifter was already off. Now hopefully I won't have any problems reinstalling the shifter. No, hopefully not. It looks like I've got room. I hope I do, because I can't really stand many more issues with this car right now. It needs to be running, it needs to be put together. So according to the instruction manual, the T56 Magnum XL takes 8 pints of transmission fluid. In other words, 4 quarts. Now why they couldn't just say 4 quarts, that's beyond me. I have no idea. I guess that's too easy. I don't know. Anyway, I've got 2 in there now. Let me get the other 2 in there, and then we will move on to the brake fluid and trying to get the air out of the slave cylinder. All right, so at first you're gonna want to pump it with your hand, because it'll actually want to stay on the floor until you get enough resistance to where it'll pop back up by itself, and then I guess you can use your foot then. Starting to get some resistance. Kind of a pain. And then you want to check the reservoir and make sure it doesn't run out. Definitely don't want it to run out. So we've used a little bit. And we're gonna make sure nothing is dripping underneath, make sure we don't have any leaks. So unfortunately for me, I had to drain the slave cylinder because I had to take all the required measurements to make sure we had the proper clearance. So it was completely empty. So this may take a while. Anyway, I'm gonna keep at it until I guess until I feel it's like it was before. I don't know, or until I quit losing fluid maybe. But I'm gonna keep going. All right, so I think we're good with the clutch. Kept pumping it thousands of times, and it's no longer taking any more fluid, so I think it's good. I let it sit for a little bit. Obviously I won't be able to work on the car again for another couple days because I won't have those exhaust pieces. The next time we come out, we'll or maybe tomorrow or something, or every day I'll just come out and pump that clutch pedal. I'm getting very excited about driving this car. We were so close, so close. Couple minor setbacks, but I mean, it is what it is. But I'm gonna quit rambling. It's getting late today. I've been busting my behind on this car for the past 3 days, and it has been fighting back. Proper name for the car, Stepchild. I'm gonna start treating it like a stepchild if it doesn't act right. But anyway, hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're almost there. We've almost got the car back on the ground, and we'll see you on the next one.